In this video, we will be taking a look at the O-Train's Stage 2 Western Extension, expanding service farther west to Algonquin on Line 1 and Moodie on Line 3. Westboro Station. If you've been following along with the progress at Westboro Station for the past year or so, you can really see at this stage that things have definitely caught up to the progress and state of most of the other stations. The structure is virtually complete. The roofing, the canopies, the glasswork, the glazing, all around, everything looks fairly complete at this stage, which is great to see. A lot of the work now seems to involve the surrounding area around the station. So for the bus loop, the bus platforms, the landscaping, all of those areas surrounding the station are now obviously becoming the highlight and the focus of the work happening here at Westboro. You can see the entrance here off of Scott Street. That'll be the main entrance into the station. There's an entrance on the opposite side in the bus loop, but that'll mostly be for people transiting to bus. If we look off to the side here, you can see there's also a bus layup area and loop that they're creating to allow buses to be able to end and start their trips here at Westboro Station. As we continue looking farther west to our next station, which is going to be just on the border of the Ottawa River. Another look here at the temporary bus bridge that's crossing over the LRT guideway. As we arrive at our next station, our next stop. Next station, Kichi Zibi. And Kichi Zibi, really a nice station in the middle of the area here, flanked on both sides by residential. So it's definitely going to be very much well received. And I just love seeing the homes right off on the right side here, how close they are. You just step out, pass down your driveway. I mean, these are a select few of very fortunate people that have such great access. Entrance on both sides of the station. And you can see here the pedestrian throughway just off to the left side here. So if you're not actually going to be using the train, you can cross the train trench to be able to reach the other side. You can see now the tracks leading off from the station, switch point over here, traction power substation, as it heads off down the Kichi Zibi Parkway to dive down into the tunnel, pass underneath for a good kilometer plus before emerging here at Sherbourne. Next station, Sherbourne. And as we said many times, from the point it dives into the tunnel to the point it comes out just near Lincoln Fields, the train is going to be passing completely underground. It'll be open to the above only at this station, Sherbourne, and the next New Orchard. You can see the entrance side of the station over here. Platforms off into the middle of the station. Center platform, trains going on both sides. There's a nice blue ribbon embellishment on the sides of the platforms. You'll see New Orchard has something very similar, except over there it's red. So again, entrance is over here, stairs, elevators going down to the platform in the middle. Station again looks very complete. Again, the surrounding area around the station, mostly to do with Richmond Road and Byron being redone, restored back to the way they used to be with a slightly modified alignment. The Byron Linear Park as well, lots of stuff has been happening around here, but it looks like the work is really now focused on getting the road back into the state it used to be. Next station, New Orchard. The same layout as Sherbourne, except in this case the entrance is on the opposite side of the station compared to Sherbourne. Very much the same layout, center platform, trains on both sides. You can see the red ribbon off in the distance there, down at the platform level. Sort of a reddish pink gradient style. And it only seems to cover half of the platform, which is kind of interesting why it doesn't cover the whole thing, or if that's still pending to be installed, we're not quite sure. But definitely a nice little piece of art to add some color down in this below grade station here. So as the trains depart New Orchard, which you can see in the top left, pass underneath Richmond Road, come out from the western portal of the tunnel, come back to grade before lining up and reaching our next station, which is a major transfer point between line 1 and 3. Next station, Lincoln Fields. From here, again, station, just like most of the others, very complete. A lot of work now is happening on the massive bus loop area and bus platforms. You can see concrete has been laid, paving is going on. There's a pickup and drop-off zone off to the side. You can see a lot of the bus platforms, the shelters out here. Very expansive, nice and close right to the station itself, so you don't have to go far. It's not going to be like a long jog and walk like you see at Tunney's Pasture, which is really massive. You can see here from the tunnel the 2 tracks branching off into 3. The one on the right is the downtown eastbound track, so downtown Blair trim. The one in the middle for pretty much Algonquin and Moodie, and the one all the way to the left would be for special service patterns going towards Moodie or staging other trains. After passing underneath Carling Avenue, tracks continue on with more switch points as the track prepares to split off into 4. You can see it here how it leads up and passes underneath the Woodruff High School pedestrian bridge, which is really a nice spot for train spotting, as we've found out recently from following the LRV test all the way to Algonquin. Can really get a great view of the trains coming through here. So we're now going to continue on to line 1. The tracks will dive underneath this flyover and swerve away, passing underneath line 3. So line 3 is going to fly over the line 1 tracks, which then head off to the left, zig around this area, will ultimately pass underneath the old Queensway Transitway station that's no longer really in use and is going to be further decommissioned. So you can see how the tracks pass underneath. And as you saw in our last video, they are doing some testing now between Algonquin and Iris. They have an orange fence piece here, obviously to help delineate the testing area that they're currently doing. As tracks continue on, a couple more switch points as we head into our next station, which is really a nice one, surrounded by lots of green space, trees, the creek off to the side with some water, grass, really nice. Next station, Iris. And again, very much a simple station. Pretty much just really platforms. There's no elevators here, so for accessible entrance, people will have to go off to the sides of the Iris overpass, loop around to reach the platforms, or they can take the stairs from those little entrance kiosks. Head down to the station itself. And you can see here the stairs leading down into the station and the entrance. Fare gates inside. If you need to switch from eastbound to westbound, you will have to go out, cross the overpass, and re-enter on the other side. There's no connectivity or underground tunnel here. Lots of glass along the platforms. They're planting trees right up to the perimeter of the glass wall. It's going to be great. Once everything matures here, you have the water and the creek going right through. It's truly going to be something really nice and special for riding the train and waiting around here. You can see it exit from Iris, continue on along the alignment here, pass underneath Baseline Road before lining up for its final station as of this part of the O-Train expansion, Algonquin, formerly Baseline Station. Next station, Algonquin. And this station is underground, so you can see the tracks leading into the station cavern underneath. 2 tracks splitting off into 4, as you can see right here. Center platform, trains stopping on both sides. And there's also storage tracks, that's why it splits off more as it goes into the station. So they'll be able to store a number of trains inside the station as a garaging facility. You can see one of the entrance buildings here to the left, right next to the Algonquin College Construction Excellence building. And then the standalone bus loop entrance building, which has a pedestrian connection crossing over. So the first entrance here, completely underground, you come up, and then you just walk from the entrance into the Algonquin College building right there, where you can then cross over to the rest of the campus. There's also this bus loop building. Bus loop is going to be behind, we'll see in a second. And this has a pedestrian crossing right into the college, so you don't have to step outside. Even though the entrance is right next to the college itself, there's still 100 meters that you have to walk, but that will create an indoor connection. You can see the new bus loop area here. It's going to be serving all Nepean Barhaven. Lots of nice path work, layout. Everything here really looks nice with the trees and the grass and the little mounds. So you can see it from back over there, how that connects into everything. And the whole station area here. Very nice, really well done. Eager to see that being put into service. So now if we loop back, after looking at line 1, we'll come back to Lincoln Fields. We will now take the flyover, so the tracks crossing over line 1, and we're going to head down line 3 towards Moodie. So these tracks cross over the line 1 track that goes to Algonquin, dive underneath Kanata Park, pass just alongside the OC Transpo garage on Queensview, loop around to line up and reach next station, Queensview. And from this station, right next to Leon's, pedestrian crossing over to Pasture Road so you can reach IKEA. Really a nice station, 3 levels again. Lowest level is the train platforms, the second level is the concourse where the ticket vending machines in the main portion of the entrance of the train is, and the third level is the pedestrian crossing above. Open to everyone, whether you have a ticket or not. You can use this actually to make the connection across the highway without having to loop back to Pinecrest or Greenbank and go from there. Again, the station here really has been looking very complete for quite a long time at this point. You can see the pedestrian crossing going over to Pasture Road right over here. They've done a lot more work now on the sidewalk that loops around from here to reach towards IKEA and the other businesses in that area. You can look down here from this entrance, elevators and stairs to go up to the pedestrian crossing back to the train on the opposite side for line 3. As we head out of this station, continues along the trench, just parallel to the 417 westbound. And from this point on, as we continue looking at the line, we're going to take a little bit of a peek at some of the potential damage that was caused by the July 1st Canada Day storm. Next station, Pinecrest. So right after Queensview, we will come to Pinecrest. The bus loop here is already in service. And the old station we'll see in a second has actually been completely demolished and removed. Not a big bus loop area here, but you can see buses already using it, using the loop to be able to get out. The old location where the old station platforms and shelters used to be, completely removed. Those were actually in service up until quite recently, and were even featured in our last video. So looking at the LRT station itself now, below grade, center platform trains on both sides. Definitely looking quite good at this point. There's some landscaping, grass, seating, trees being put in place in the surrounding areas. It should be quite a nice area for surrounding the station for people taking the train, taking the bus in this area. So as we continue on, we're looking back towards Queensview. We're looking now towards Pinecrest. You can see the track area here looks fairly good. There is a bit of some black debris and the standing water off to the side there. So definitely some water probably pooled and passed through here as part of the storm. The rest of the section here doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty much intact, not really much damage. Some of the cable trough coverings do look to have been removed. I don't know if they were doing inspections or whatnot, but probably nothing to be overly concerned about as we head into our next stop. Next station, Bayshore. Bayshore station, again, very important station with the residential right in proximity with the multiple apartment buildings, and of course the ever popular Bayshore shopping center. You can see the pedestrian crossing going into the shopping center parkade, the new main entrance building, the bus loops, which a lot of the work still is happening on to be able to reconfigure, pave, redo that area, as well as the LRT station itself. So looking at it here, people coming in by foot will have to go in by this new entrance building to reach the train or the buses. You can see how the concrete work is definitely advancing here for the bus platforms and the bus loop. There's a big bus layup area here that's also being built off to the end. And again, really, really looking good. They're definitely working at some of the roadway just alongside of the platforms here. That continues to be a work in progress. And one final look here at the platforms. You can see they look pretty good. Doesn't look to have been any damage from what we can see from this view of the station itself. Obviously some of the coverings for the cable trough have been opened up and it looks to be a little moved around. So it's not clear if the storm had any impact on that, but from pictures we've seen from the storm, it did look like that Queensway just adjacent to it had a big flooded area, so it could have some impact on the station. Now as we head in towards Moodie station, there is more damage and it's going to increase as we get closer to the yard farther down. So again, lots of cable trough covers here removed, displaced. Again, not clear if that is due to just doing inspections of the cabling or if there was water damage or if they were displaced from that. As we head into our next station, Moodie. Final terminus. Next station, Moodie. So just like last time when we came here 2 months ago, the landscaping, the bus loop, everything is advancing quite nicely here. You can see the nice interlocking stone at the entrance side. Looking from the opposite angle now, you can see the train platforms, eastbound, westbound, offset from each other slightly due to its proximity to the 417 Moodie off-ramp. And again, the bus loop and the bus platforms, which are going to be serving buses going out towards Kanata, going to the National Defense Carlin campus. And of course, there's a pickup and drop off area loop over here because this station does not have a park and ride. So pickup and drop off might be fairly important for a lot of people. You can see the train tracks heading off to the Moodie Corkstown Yard light maintenance and storage facility. So now we're going to take a couple moments to take a look at some of the damage in this area because this is pretty much ground zero of where most of the damage did happen from the July 1st Canada Day storm. So this is the area exactly where a lot of videos online were shared and the news picked up on, where you could see water rushing down this slope. You can see it washed out underneath 2 points on the track, which we'll see better in the next shot. So this is the main point here. You can see the ballast, the rock that holds and stabilizes and secures the rails actually was displaced out from underneath here. So that's definitely a big problem. And it clumped up further down on the rail ties. And then a little farther up, just next to that little pocket track, it got washed out as well. You can see some of the cabling here, the cabling troughs, I mean, it just got all turned into spaghetti. It got shoved off on the left side. It got really mangled up on this side here. So there's definitely some electrical connectivity and cabling, signal cabling, that were probably very damaged in this area right here. So this section right here, really ground zero for where a significant portion of the damage took place. We'll take a couple other looks here. This is a little farther down from where we were just looking at. So underneath the highway on and off ramps. Again, not quite as bad around here, but again, you can see that some of the rock was displaced. And then just over here, you can even see there's a spot where there's like a big pileup of sand on the rail itself. So it probably got washed out from the little embankment and slopes on the sides. So definitely a situation that is without a doubt going to impact the opening of Line 3 and the whole western extension. They are looking at alternatives. They're doing a lot of work to investigate how much damage there was, what needs to be done. But they're not ruling out, and they are considering a potential opening of Line 1 to Algonquin. Corkstown Yard, light maintenance and storage facility. For the most part, it doesn't look like the maintenance facility was overly impacted, with obviously the major exception of the slope just between the MSF and the Moodie station. We're hoping for an update early next year from the city and from officials as to the real impacts to the timeline of the project. And that wraps up this installment of our Western Extension Project update. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and stay with us for our continuing coverage of Ottawa's O-Train.